How are we doing? I don't know what is happening to my Facebook. I have not been able to connect. Okay, I'm just wondering why I've not been able to connect to my Facebook page. I've just seen the reason. Hi, everybody. I hope I'm loud and clear. Happy new month. Happy Workers' Day. Long time, no live section. It's been a while. I took some time off the live section for the month of April because I was actually planning the 7 days live section. So, officially, the 7 days live section begins today. Today, I am opening the floor. Tomorrow, I will have an expert come in. And so, the essence of the live section is basically to better educate SMEs on how they can build a financially healthy business, even in the face of having debt issues with their customers and clients. So, welcome to today's opening live section. I have a very interesting topic I'm going to quickly discuss. Today, I'm going to be looking at how to ensure constant cash flow and multiple profits in your business during debt recovery. So, in case you have not met me, fun mentor, thank you for joining. In case you have not met me, you do not know me, or you've known me, you know me, but for the purpose of familiarity, my name is Precious Toju, aka the Structure Lady. I'm a debt recovery lawyer, an insolvency practitioner, a credit risk analyst, and a coach. Basically, what I do is to teach SMEs and money lenders how to successfully recover debts from their customers without losing them or being liable in law, and also help them avoid credit risk in business so that they can have better cash flow and more profits. So today we're starting the 7 days live section, and for today I'm going to talk about how to ensure constant cash flow and multiple profits in your business during debt recovery. So debt recovery is something I have been talking about for a couple of months now or weeks now. That's most of the thing, basically primarily what I talk about on the social media space. And this is because there is no way you can run business without one debt issues coming up one way or the other. It's either you have customers and clients that are owing you, or you are the one owing customers and clients. Whatever is the case, I have a very popular quote that says, as long as business transaction exists, debt will never cease from the earth. And that is the truth. Somebody once asked me, I'm still going to respond to it in my question and answer, asked that is there a way he can carry out business without having debt issues at all? And I said the answer to that question is a yes and no. Yes, in the sense that if you don't extend credit to somebody, to customers and clients at all. So when I say extend credit, I simply mean rendering service on a part-time payment for a balance later, or no payment for payment to be made later, or giving out goods, supplying goods for payment to be made later. As long as you're not doing any of these things, you can be sure. But you should also understand that when we're talking about debt issues, we're not just talking about when people are owing you, even when you are owing customers, when you are owing investors, when you are owing subscribers, your partners, your suppliers, whoever that you're owing. So it's very rare and almost impossible to say that you will not have debt issues in your business, because there's even what we call when debt can be cured. When there is one of the things in high finance is a company that has debts, and not just debts, but servicing debts. So there's a difference between bad debts and servicing debts. Those are things that I don't want to talk about today. So what exactly is cash flow? Cash flow is just the inflow and outflow of money in your business. So inflow, you have customers and clients that are paying you money for your goods or your services. Outflow, you're paying salary, you're paying the rent of your office, you are doing a lot of things with your money, expenses, investment, those are outflow. So for you to have constant cash flow, in your business, you definitely would need customers, because when customers do not come to patronize your business, you will not have the flow to also do other things, expenses, and pay the things that you need to pay, or even grow your business, because you actually need money to grow your business. So customers, cash flow, profits. So it is the customers that bring in cash flow, and it is how frequent your cash flow is, and that's why it is called a flow. It must be flowing and overflowing. How frequent your cash flow is will determine the multiplicity of your profits. That is how you will have profits more and more, because without cash flow, you cannot have multiple profits. Now, I need to draw a distinction. You can make profits, does not mean that you have enough cash flow. And that is why I use the word multiple profits. And you can actually make profits and still be struggling with debt. But when you have enough cash flow, when you have constant cash flow, it will be very easy for you to regulate and balance debt issues in your business. So, how do you actually? So I wrote here, let me read my note. I read here, what is the major difference between cash flow and profit? Okay, so profit is after you have taken down all your expenses. So what you made from a particular service after taking out all the bills that made that service possible is your profit. Cash flow is not your profit. Okay? Cash flow is never a profit. Profit is your own money. Cash flow is not your own money. Cash flow, when money comes in, so let's say you did a business transaction and you made a cash flow of 5 million came in from that business transaction. You will agree with me that all that money is not your own, because there are some that will go into expenses. There might be some people that you had outsourced some things to do. So it is when you have done all that deduction that you can say the balance, what is left, including your tax. So when I'm talking about deductions, including your tax, that's when you can say I have a profit. So the question is, how do you ensure constant cash flow and multiple profits in your business doing debt recovery? Debt recovery could mean two things. So I have redefined debt recovery to mean that it is when a creditor seeks to recover that which he is owed, and when a debtor seeks to recover from that which he owes. So debt recovery applies in both ways. Debt recovery to the creditor is, I want to collect the money that you are owing me. Debt recovery to a debtor is, I want to be able to pay off the money that I'm owing. Nobody with the right senses wants to be a debtor till they enter into the grave. Okay? Hi, Pastor Balaji, welcome. So nobody with the right senses would want to be a debtor till they enter the grave. So I do say that no matter how people try to do hide and seek doing debt recovery, no matter how people try to tell so much lies doing debt recovery, it's just that they don't have the money to pay, or they had the money to pay, they diverted it to something else. The truth is, they really do not want to owe, because if they really wanted to owe, they would have come and say, I'm owing you and there's nothing you can do about it. But they will not, they're hiding. So debt recovery is not just about you recovering your money, it's also about the debtor being able to pay. So the bottom line is, now, how do you now ensure that you have constant cash flow in your business and multiple profits when you are going through a debt recovery process, bearing at the back of your mind that sometimes customers will not pay at all. Sometimes customers will just play a fast one on you. Sometimes they will actually promise and they never get to pay. Sometimes they really want to pay this money, but the resources, the funds are not there. Okay, so I remember during COVID, I had a lot of debt recovery matter, a whole lot of debt recovery matter. In fact, I was running away from some of them, because when you meet the debtor itself in that kind of situation, what exactly can you do as a business person, especially SME, where you don't have enough resources and funds to? This is the solution. I always say, for those that follow me and follow my content, I always say that debt recovery does not start from when a customer or client is owing you. Debt recovery started from the day you extended credit to that person. So let me break it down. So when I'm talking about credit, people don't really understand what I mean by credit. So credit simply means when you give out your goods, or you render service, or you give out money to somebody to pay back at a later time, or at a time that is agreed to by both parties. So a lot of business people, because of lack of the knowledge, actually think that when we're talking about credit, we are only talking about credit as it pertains to money lenders. Yes, credit is prominent, is a dominant word used for money lenders. However, everybody, as long as you're into business, you will extend credit one way or the other. As long as, so let me give an illustration. So I have this bottle of water and I'm selling this bottle of water in packs, or rather I am producing this bottle of water, and I have customers that will come and say, can you give me 20 cartons of this water? 20 cartons, let me say 20 cartons is 100,000. Let me deposit 50,000 naira. I will pay back the balance of 50,000 naira in the next 2 weeks, in the next 3 weeks. Once I agree, I have extended credit to that person. So that is for physical goods. For you that that you're a professional, you render professional service. So for me, for example, there are sometimes we want to go to court. A particular client wants to institute an action against the company for any reason, and we bill the person. So most times the clients will say, do you have payment option? In other words, do you have installmental payment option? And so for our policy in the firm, you do 80% upfront and 20%, 80% before we even start, and 20% once we have started. What we have done is we have extended credit to that client in form of service. So that is why I keep saying that there is no business on the surface of the earth that does not extend credit to its customer or clients. The only problem is a lot of people do not actually know that they have extended credit to their customers and clients. So if you have this knowledge at the back of your mind, then you would understand that debt recovery doesn't start when a customer or client is on you. It starts from the day you extended credit to that person, whether in form of money, loan, service, or product. Now the question is, how do you safeguard your business against bad debts, so that at the end of the day, you will have constant cash flow and multiple profits, even when you are trying to recover your money from your customers and clients? Number one, you must, as a matter of necessity, have a credit risk policy in your business. And when I'm talking about credit risk policy, I'm not talking about those policies that people will write on your website for the purpose of formality, for the purpose of branding, online presence, or media or press, so that they can see, oh, beautiful website, they have these policies. You don't just have a credit risk policy, you must have structures in place to implement them. You want to ensure constant cash flow in your business, multiple profits, even when customers and clients are owing you. You must have credit risk policy. What exactly is credit risk policy? It is simply putting structures, modalities, systems, and strategies in place to first analyze your, I don't want to use the word credit risk again, your chances of losing out totally. I have a call coming in. Your chances of losing out totally in a particular business transaction when debt issues arises. That credit risk policy simply means reducing your risk level to the barest minimum in a business transaction in the event debt issues arises. So in other words, you put structures in place to safeguard. Example of credit risk policy is you will check the credit worthiness of your customer. So if you have a customer, so let me go back to my 20 cartons of water. So if I am producing water and a particular customer comes and deposits a 50,000 naira for 20 packs or cartons and says he or she will pay back in 2-3 weeks the balance of 50,000, and in 6 months I am still pursuing that customer, will it be wise for me to give that customer another product even when he has paid that money? If I am to analyze my credit risk in that transaction or subsequent or future transaction with my customer, my risk level is higher. And there is a possibility that after the third or fourth transaction, the person may not even pay at all. So I will do a proper analysis of the credit worthiness of my customer, the credit history of my customer, my chances of getting paid on time, my alternatives where I do not get my money back on time. That is what exactly credit risk policy does for you. Okay, it's deep, but I just want to do an introduction. If you want to ensure constant cash flow and multiply your profits during debt recovery, another thing you should have is debt recovery policy. I cannot overstretch this. In fact, if you run a small, medium, and micro business, you need this policy more than even the multinationals and the large-scale companies. And interestingly, you see, the large-scale companies, they have it on ground. They will even engage us to train their staff on debt recovery. They will ask us to review that debt recovery policy and put the right modalities in place. But SMEs who do not have the resources to pursue a particular debtor or customer when the person consistently owes and never pay, don't think it necessary. You will never see a standard company without a debt recovery policy, because it will definitely happen. So you must have a debt recovery policy which will include this and a lot more. What debt recovery strategy would you use for a particular customer? I have said it times without number that debt recovery is not a one jacket suits all process. What I mean by that is that's why we call what is called emotional intelligence in debt recovery and the psychology of debt recovery. Okay, so if you had signed up for my course, it's a 6 weeks training and business structure coaching for SMEs. I dive deep into that topic. So emotional intelligence is simply being able to manage your emotions, your reactions to very stubborn customers, plus reading and understanding the body language of your customer or debtor, and knowing the debt recovery process to use against them. You see, there are some customers that don't even need escalation. Just at the first stage of debt recovery, they will pay up. There are some that don't just need escalation, but severe escalation. If you do not have this in place in your business, when that situation comes up, you are blank. You don't know what to do. The next thing you will do, the first thing you will do is to go and get police. And you have forgotten that police are not just, they are not debt recovery agents. And then there's a limit to what they can do. They are, yes. I tell people, the highest police will do is to put your debtor in behind bars. And after that, what next? So they will sign undertaking to come and pay. And when they've made the first second, I say this because I have had to petition people. I have also had to defend clients that we are petitioned at the police station. So I have done both ways, and I have done proper analysis. If they do undertaking to pay the first and the second and the third, and after they have paid first, second, third, and maybe did undertaking to pay like 10 times, and after the first, second, or third, and they don't pay, what happens? The highest you can do is to charge the person to court. And when it comes to charging a debtor to court, that is solely a criminal matter that will not fetch you back your money nor compensation. So you must, as a matter of necessity, have a potent debt recovery policy. What strategy will you use? What is the debt recovery process that you will use? You have to categorize your customers at first and say this is the kind of debt recovery process you will use. Your strategy will contain things like the primary debt recovery process you're going to use for a particular customer, plan B for that primary debt recovery process, and a backup plan for the plan B. You can see it. Now that's one thing. How much? What is your budget for debt recovery? You must have a budget for debt recovery so that you will not spend more than the profits that you are going to make from that transaction. Now, the problem a lot of people, I mean, the mistake a lot of people make, SMEs especially, is they will take they will do debt recovery from the money they are making from other customers, and they will do debt recovery from that money. They will. So if you have 10 customers that are not owing you and you have 5 that are owing you, that's 15. So the profits that are making, the money they're making from those customers is what they will use to pursue. No, no, no. Your debt recovery must be within the profits that you are going to make from that particular debt recovery. And if you do not budget for it ahead, you are just going to end up running from pillar to post. Your debt recovery policy will include when should you write off a particular debt, because there are some debts that are really bad. I call them DDA, dead dead debt on arrival. You know the way you have BID, brought in dead, when you're going to the hospital. That's just how it is. There are some debt issues that are bad, where you have exceeded the statute bar, where legally you cannot pursue it in court or any legal gathering. Those are bad debts. So you need to address it in your debt recovery policy, when not to go, when to write off a debt. You also need to know when to write off a debt for the purpose of tax, so that you will not be liable for certain tax duties. So your debt recovery policy is a whole lot. If you want to ensure constant cash flow, and multiple profits in your business doing debt recovery, another thing you should look at is dispute resolution policy. Oh my God! Let me drink water before I say this one. So you see, I have is it a slogan or a quote? I have so many quotes, which says, okay, no, that's not my quote. I'm sorry. So, intellectual property. I think I saw it somewhere, which says, I have my own quote when it comes to dispute resolution, but I particularly like this one that says it takes 20 years to build a brand, and it can take just 1 minute to destroy it. How? If you don't have policy on how you are going to resolve disputes in your business, which, by the way, you already know that are inevitable, you will end up spending so much money unnecessarily doing debt recovery. What is the essence of dragging somebody to the police, the EFCC, going to courts, doing all of that? You still don't get your money, where you can easily mediate and get your money out in few months. I call it debt recovery mediation. So as an accredited mediator and a mediation advocate, I can tell you firsthand that I have been able to recover debts without going to court. A lot of them. It's just at extreme cases that we have to go to court. Maybe it's a mortgage, we need to do foreclosure, or other thing, probably maybe execution. And the beautiful part about mediation is you will jump the court process. Once you agree, you will just go to court and make it the judgment of the court. So you must have a dispute resolution policy. How do you handle tough customers, difficult customers, political customers? Oh yeah, I handle one debt recovery matter where the debtor was a politician, a top politician in another state, not in Lagos State. He was in Lagos State and moved to his state, and he was a member of the House of Rep, and he now was going, up to the Senate and all of that. And he categorically told my client that there's nothing he can do. What are your disputes oh, by the way, we got the money out. So what are your disputes resolution mechanism to get back money? Because that's why I talk about emotional intelligence in debt recovery. Because there are some customers, you need to sit down and analyze your customer. Do you want to do power play? Is it all customers or debtors that are owing you that you can afford to do power play? Because I can tell you for sure that there are some customers and debtors that have the money to pay you, but they just want to like show you a little bit of their power, and they want to like frustrate the whole situation. Just one mediation section can overcome that. I handled a debt recovery matter, I think 2022 or 2023. And this, my client was telling me, this man will not even answer you. I've sent 3 lawyers to him. He will not answer. I said, well, let me just do the little that I know how to do. And I reached out to the man. Of course, I used the mediation tactics and scheduled him for a meeting. And he agreed to the meeting. Then my client was telling me that he's not going to come for that meeting. So my client, I even gave my client the option of him even coming. He said, no, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. He will not disappoint me. He will not come. I said, okay. The man came. In fact, the man was even earlier it was a Zoom meeting, was earlier than myself. And we agreed that the debt was going to be paid within 4 months. I sent him an agreement, he signed it and everything. My client didn't believe it. And in less than 4 months, he had paid. Now, it's not as simple. You know, the way I'm saying is as if it's now sounding as if, oh, the way I'm saying is ABC. No, there are factors, there are strategies to it, there are techniques to it. I watch is it not Pastor Emmanuel, one of my favorite real estate investment coach and pastor. He was saying that there is a technique in cooking, that why will our mothers not put soup in the middle of the palm to test it whether the salt and Maggi is okay, but they will put it here. Everything is about technique. The bottom line is, do you have a dispute resolution policy? How you will tackle debt issues, what mechanism you would use when there are disputes in terms of figure, in terms of goods. What will you do? What is the system, dispute resolution system? Because I can tell you that settling your disputes amicably is more cost effective. I have been doing litigation for over 10 years. My very first experience has always been in litigation. I'm a core litigation lawyer, but I am telling you firsthand that if you run a small, medium business, you have no business. A small, medium enterprise, you have no business in going in and out of court over debt issues, except in extreme cases. Because litigation is not for the weak-hearted and is not for the broke. It is costly. It is money. Not to talk now where Nigerian Bar Association has given lawyers our minimum professional fees that we can charge. So you cannot, even if the person is your friend, charge less than that. So if that saying minimum, for example, is 5 million, you think it's everybody that will charge 5 million. People will charge 20 million, 25 million. Okay? So the last thing you can do to ensure constant cash flow and multiple profits in your business during debt recovery is to have a finance policy. How do you manage cash flow? Because if you don't manage cash flow, you might not even have multiple profits, and your business will be insolvent, inability to pay off its debts or meet up its financial obligation. And where you now have customers and clients owing you, you are just going to go down and down and down. So you also need finance policy. All right, so to have a recap, I have talked about 4 ways to ensure constant cash flow and multiply your profits in your business during debt recovery. And I've said you should have credit risk policy in your business. You should have debt recovery policy in your business. You should have dispute resolution policy in your business. And lastly, you should have finance policy in your business. And I also emphasize that these policies are not just to be written in black and white. You must have structures, systems, strategies, and processes to implement them in real life. Okay, because black and white is different from what is obtainable in real life. It's just like when we were in law school. So when we came out of law school, saw that practice is different from what we were taught at law school. So we had to readjust and reset our brain. That's just how it is. And if you actually want to get this, I actually call it the cash flow policies. So if you don't know how to go about it, I have a template. It's called the cash flow policies. It is a template of credit risk policy, debt recovery policy, dispute resolution policy, finance policy. So all you need to do, and it's not just a template. All for those that have bought my templates, all of my templates comes with video. The video will explain to you how to use it. I don't just, because I understand that it's not your field, so you will need extra hand. I don't just do a video. I have a support community. So once you purchase any of my templates, you will be in that community to ask any questions where you're lost. So if you are interested in having the cash flow policies that consist of credit risk policy, debt recovery policy, dispute resolution policy, and finance policy in your business, you can easily send me a DM with the phrase cash flow policies. Just type cash flow policies, send me a DM and type cash flow policies. I will send you a link where you can purchase it and also automatically join the cash flow community. That's what we call ourselves. All right, it's been a lovely time talking about how to ensure constant cash flow and multiple profits in your business doing debt recovery. I hope you learned something. If you did, please do not forget to put it in the comment section. And I look forward to reading. If you have any question whatsoever, please don't send questions to my DM. I have enough of that. Please drop your question in the comment section and I will respond ASAP. Tomorrow, join me with, I'm having a guest tomorrow, Barrister Willington. He is a legal practitioner and a private investigator, and we are going to be discussing asset tracing and tracking doing debt recovery. So a lot of you do not know there are other ways that you can get your debtor to pay you. Tomorrow we're going to find out what asset tracing and tracing is all about doing debt recovery. Thank you for joining me. I remain Precious Toju, aka the Structure Lady, the one and only queen of debt recovery in Africa. I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.